breathe out, I take in, I give out, I let love, I let go, I release, and I know. Forgive, I receive, I can feel, I believe, I am healed, I am whole, I release, I know. To push, no need to try, no need to worry or question why. Surrender, let go, release, and know.
Everyone wishes to live their best life. We experiment with various ways to achieve that, whether it is through study, competing, finding a partner, working hard, or admiring someone who inspires you. It is the quality of our inner being that does it all, or grapples with fulfilling life's calling. For the past 20 years, the Brahma Kumaris in Washington, D.C. has been a space for any and everyone to enter into and experience one's soul calling. From 1997, the center opened in an old rickety house on Georgia Avenue in Silver Spring, Maryland, where cars and trucks that passed by would shake the space. But when you were inside, it was a peaceful and powerful sanctuary for all who visited. Since then, over 2,500 events, 17 city and nationwide initiatives, 21 awards, 2 meditation museums have served youths, senior citizens, entrepreneurs, scientists, authors, women, interfaith, the disabled, environment, small businesses, arts seekers, and even leaders. Millions of lives have been served, either through social media, the popular America Meditating radio show, or through exhibitions, lectures, partnerships, and programs held in the meditation museums and centers. We look at 20 years of service as a continued journey of love, courage, wisdom, and determination with friends from diverse backgrounds and thought who believe a better world is possible when we make ourselves better human beings. Meditation is an important tool that helps us to gain greater clarity, insights, and inner power so we can make healthy choices and amplify our capacity to live a full life. In times of great anxiety, insecurity, and fear, meditation is an essential practice for everyone to gain stability and inner strength. Just look at what a few dedicated, purposeful, and kind group of committed people have been able to achieve in 20 years. Thanks to everyone who have supported us along the way. And thanks in advance to those who believe in our work and power of intent. Brahma Kumaris Meditation Museums, where peace is inside. Hi everyone, Om Shanti. Welcome to your next normal. I'm Sister Jenna, and for, I would say, for the entirety of today, it was spent thinking about how important our thoughts are and how valuable they are if we're able to really recognize their importance. And I think a lot of times we actually don't. We are so used to having thoughts that just come and go and do what they need to do. And then once in a while we go, oh, I shouldn't think that. But what we've been doing this week is looking over the Raj Yoga meditation course, which is actually the foundation course in meditation that's offered by the Brahma Kumaris. And we've been really delighted by, reminding some of these deep core concepts that actually will help to awaken the soul and invite the soul into a much more deeper meaning and deeper existence, to really think with meaning and purpose, and to see life with more meaning and purpose, and to make decisions with more meaning and purpose. Being in this particular environment of the way the world is right now, I think a lot of us are looking for tools to really deeply awaken the soul to an extent that the soul can really birth something new, come out with something creative, something powerful, something pure, something that is sustainable. Right before we came on air, we were talking about how things that are not truthful, things that are not real, it's not easy for the human soul to try to sustain an illusion. Because the more the soul tries to sustain an illusion, the more energy is taken from the soul. In our first lesson of Who Am I, we explored the idea that we are souls, that we are a point of light, that there's an energy that exists behind our eye. And when we are in self-realized mode, the expression of that soul is very loving, very pure, very peaceful, very happy, very wise, very truthful. But when I'm not really who I need to be, then algae replaces that real sense of self. I get into emotions of anger, lust, greed, attachment, and ego. So the whole effort of really exploring the power of Raj Yoga meditation is to move us away from living this norm of illusion. And I think this is what actually this particular time period is actually offering all of us, is to move away from the illusion of thinking and the illusion of speaking and the illusion of being. At what point will we really just become real people and accept that that's enough, that it's enough for me to be me. It's enough for me to be kind, loving, peaceful, pure. It's enough. It's enough. I don't need my worth and my value to be based on the car that I drive, and that's a good thing. The clothes that I wear, and that's a good thing. The way that I look, and that's good. But if your definition is attached to those things, then you're moving further away from yourself. And you're losing energy, actually. You're losing energy. When you keep pulling and pulling and pulling from a source of energy and you're not restoring and filling it back up with its potential and with the fuel, then eventually you're not going to get the best from that situation. So in the first lesson, we did explore knowing who we are, feeling the energy of the soul as it really is. So the basis of Raj Yoga meditation is to help us to really recognize that I, the living soul, behind these eyes, am immortal, eternal, imperishable. The original strength of my existence is love, peace, purity, truth, and joy. But over a long period of time, because of taking birth and rebirth and just moving through various scenes of existence, I've lost a lot of that shine, that power, that naturalness. And what started to replace that hole or that void was algae. And it's an energy that we've all become so comfortable with, but we're also not able to recognize that most and all of our obstacles come as a result of the vibrations of algae that's recorded in the soul. Now, we also looked at how the soul functioned in the first lesson. There's a mind that thinks and has all these thoughts. These thoughts are actually influenced by the sanskaras, the resolves, the personality trait, the sum total of everything you've been through as a soul on a journey, not just in this lifetime, but as a soul. But the way out of all of this stuff is the power of the intellect, the power of your conscious choice, the power of will, your intelligence, your ability to sift through what is an illusion, what is real, what does this thought mean? Is this thought really serving my real identity, or am I still sustaining an illusion? So in the practice of Raj Yoga meditation, the faculty in the soul that gets used the most will be your intellect. As you sit there and listen to me, your intellect is sifting what to understand as a result of the recording in your sanskaras. So based on the sum total of your sanskaras, your intellect is trying to find the right experience that you need to connect with the self so the mind can actually feel that. If for whatever reason your intellect is pulling a sanskar that has the vibration of algae, then you're going to repeat the feeling and the experience of algae in the mind. So when the mind keeps getting fed emotions and feelings of algae, it gets addicted to that. And once it gets addicted, sometimes the intellect feels, I don't need to keep doing it all the time. Now let the mind just send whatever thought it wants to send. Because even the intellect gets tired of consistently making choices based on algae. Because algae is not a natural energy. It is an acquired emotion. It's an acquired state of consciousness. It isn't the real I. It isn't the real soul. I hope you're finding this fascinating, because once you can become very, very clear on answering the question, who am I? And accepting and acknowledging that you are responsible for the way you want to feel, nobody else outside of you, there'll be a huge change, not only right now at this moment as you're watching this, but forever. You'll just move into a whole different dimension of your existence. So what we'll find is that on this journey of Raj Yoga meditation, we can start off with understanding all of this. The soul, that it's immortal, imperishable, that there's love, peace, truth, and joy, that the algae is stripped of its power. You can also accept the fact that it has a mind, intellect, sanskara, and the whole effort of meditation is to access the sanskaras, which we can also call the subconscious, the resolves, the personality trait, those deep intrinsic memories. The whole effort and intent of Raj Yoga meditation is to get us to access that area of the soul. It is such a deep-rooted place. It's sort of like, have you ever had a root canal? Or you've really had a really bad cavity, and once the doctor goes and he says, I have to get to the root. Okay, your subconscious and your sanskars are like that deep. Like you really have to go in. It's not about your surface self. It's not about what you think people are doing or saying or how you think you are. It's all about the deeper aspects within you. So in order for us to really get comfortable with recognizing the deeper aspect of the soul, the human soul is naturally linked and wired to be in relationship. And because we've had such a roller coaster of an experience with all relationships, mother, father, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, lover, beloved, friends, business partner, wife, husband, whatever it is, in-laws, mother-in-laws, we have all been through this seesaw and roller coaster of emotions with relationships. So at times there could be a recording that starts to grow in the soul where it doesn't really trust human relations. To some extent it will, but we hold ourselves back a lot when it comes on to relationships, and especially when we're young and impressionable. We go into relationships putting everything of ourselves, and then maybe the person is unfaithful, abusive, or basically is just so self-serving that they don't give me the return of that love. That can be very disturbing for the soul, because the natural tendency of the soul is to feel the reciprocation of the love that it gives, that it gets a return. There's a universal law that exists like that. So in this next session, part 2, we're going to look at the relationship with God, the connection with the Supreme Source. Despite whatever your religious beliefs are, we're definitely not here to change it, adapt it, convert you, or anything of that nature. On the path of the Brahma Kumaris, it's absolutely spiritual. If it wasn't for laws of the land, companies and stuff, we wouldn't even give ourselves a name, to be very honest with you. But for whatever it's worth, it's the Brahma Kumaris. And so we're here to actually just help to impart some universal laws and concepts that have been around for many, many years. So why we need to now have a connection, the soul needs to sort of disconnect from what it's been accustomed to, but it needs to connect to something that it's been longing for. It needs to connect to an energy that it's willing to say, this connection, this relationship, I'm ready to give my all. And when the soul reconnects to the Supreme Soul, to God, to Allah, Jehovah, Krishna, Bhagawan, Khuda, all the various names that are given solely because of language, solely because of geography, Same entity, just a language difference or a geographic difference. So when the soul actually connects to the Supreme Soul, it actually starts to awaken a very deep longing. It's been like, I know God has always been around. I know that the energy exists, but to consciously, spiritually, intimately reconnect to this divine energy, it becomes the golden key to really awakening the real you. So I want to share with you a video of Daddy Janky, who I think is one of the best voices on speaking about God. She passed away on March 27th in 2020 at 104. And prior to that, she was just moving around. And she will really tell you how to keep connecting to Source. So when you listen, if you speak Hindi or you read the subtitles, when you listen to these words, please value each and every one of them as if they're the source of your life. Because I find each sentence that Daddy spoke, it has great significance. Please enjoy this video.
जब गॉड कहते हैं तो सबकी बुद्धि ऊपर चली जाती है। ईश्वर अल्लाह गॉड एक है, सर्व आत्माओं का पिता एक है, सर्व का दुख हरता शांति दाता एक है, ज्ञान का सागर, फिर प्यार का सागर, शांति का सागर, आनंद का सागर, पतित पावन एक परमात्मा है। उसको इन आँखों से देखा नहीं जा सकता, इस बुद्धि से जाना नहीं जा सकता। उसको देखने और जानने के लिए अंतर्मन की आँख खुले, अंतर बुद्धि शुद्ध हो जाए, दिव्य हो जाए तो जाने। देखना और जानना दोनों ज़रूरी है। फिर पहचानेंगे वो कौन है, कैसा है, क्या करता है, क्या कराता है, तो अपने अनुभव से कहेंगे। हम भी भगवान को बहुत ढूंढती थी। कोई कहे ईश्वर है ही नहीं, कोई कहे मैं ईश्वर हूँ, कोई कहे तो ईश्वर है, पर कहाँ है, कैसा है, उसका नाम, रूप, देश, काल, कर्तव्य क्या है, वो अभी समय आया। कलयुग की अंत और सतयुग आ रहा है, नाटक पूरा हुआ है। ये कलयुग, सतयुग से कलयुग का नाटक चक्कर पूरा हुआ है। अभी अंतिम घड़ियाँ है। सर्व आत्माएं ऊपर से नीचे आ गई है। धर्म गिलानी, पाप, भ्रष्टाचार दुनिया में इतना बढ़ गया है जो सच का नाम भी निशान न रहा है। धर्म सत्ता चाहे राज्य सत्ता, दोनों में अंदर से सुख शांति का जो जैसे कहे दिवाला हो गया है। ऐसे टाइम में प्यारा परमात्मा बाप कैसे ब्रह्मा बाबा के तन द्वारा प्रवेश हो, हम आत्माओं को अपना परिचय दे करके, हम आत्मा है, हम चक्कर में पाठ बजा के पूरा किया है। हे आत्मा परमात्मा बाप पतित पावन, ज्ञान का सागर, शांति का सागर, प्रेम का सागर, तुमको पावन बना करके घर का रास्ता बता रहा है। परमात्मा बाप कहे, बच्चे मैं तो सदा परम धाम में रहने वाला हूँ, तो आगे बाप कौन, हम कहाँ से आए हैं, कहाँ जाना है, सब भूले हुए थे। अभी प्यारे परमात्मा बाप ने जो हमारे भारत के अंदर भगवान, ईश्वर, प्रभु 3 रूप से कहते हैं। ईश्वर तेरी गत मत न्यारी, भगवान तू तो भाग्य विधाता है, प्रभु तेरी लीला परम पार है। तो उसको जानने से अनुभव होता है कि वो परमात्मा एक इस समय में अंधकार को मिटाना और फिर से रोशनी लाना, ये उसका काम है। ज्ञान अंजन सतगुरु दिया, अज्ञान अंधेर विनाश। तो परमात्मा ने हमारा तीसरा नेत्र ज्ञान का खोला, त्रिकालदर्शी बनाया। अभी कहता है तीनों लोकों के मालिक हो, स्थूल दुनिया के अभी समझो दुख धाम से, दुनिया से छूट करके शांति धाम में चल के सुख धाम में आना है ना। इसलिए एक मेरे के याद में रहो। दूसरा, श्रेष्ठ कर्म का खाता इतना जमा करो तो तुम मेरे बच्चे बाप से स्वर्ग की राजई का वर्षा लेंगे ना।
So Daddy's words definitely remind us of the deep relationship that we actually can have with the Divine, with the Supreme. So today's session is to help to actually reconnect us to the source where the soul can actually feel God, experience God. Now I know that everyone has their own way of praying, and by all means continue if you need to. However, I wanted to share with you a way that has helped over 1 million students in the Brahma Kumaris to awaken to a very intimate personal relationship with God. We don't necessarily always go around, keep talking and talking and talking about God. It is more important for us to see if the energy of God gets revealed through our behavior, through our personality, through the way we think, through the way we speak, through the vibrations that we carry. Now we don't really know, and we won't be able to tell you like, look at my energy of God. But what we do sense is that when certain events emerge in our lives that used to emerge, we recognize that we don't treat them the same way that we used to. Like we're getting a lot more peaceful, we're handling it a lot better than we did before. And then we realize, Baba, you're working. Baba, that's you. So let's take a look at how to establish a connection to God. In the first lesson, we talked about the mind, the intellect, and the sanskara. So the function that actually establishes a link to God would be the intellect. It won't be the mind. It won't be the sanskara. It will be your intellect. And how will the intellect establish that? It will establish that connection, link, and experience based on the amount of knowledge and wisdom the soul has. And that's why in the teachings of Raj Yoga, it is a continuous teaching. Every day there's a session in all of the 9,000 classes. Monday through Sunday, there's no day off. We actually have a teaching known as the Murli every single day, so that the relationship stays fresh, it stays clear, it stays true. So the intellect needs to keep receiving the kind of knowledge and information to keep it awakened, because right now the vibrations in the world are basically influenced by sleep, which is algae. So let's just say I've recognized now that I am soul. And there have been sayings historically where it says, I'm made in the image of God, my Father, and He's light. So when it comes on to really receiving the energy and receiving the power to reestablish the real remembrance and experience of who I am, we go to the divine. So I'll put on a little PowerPoint to give you a little bit of an idea of how we look at the world of the relationship and God. First and foremost, we have to really ask ourselves the question, how am I going to get back my power? How am I going to get, and I want to maybe change that, how am I going to move forward into being a human being that is rich and filled with 100% love and peace and purity? It'll be through a connection with the Supreme Being. In all of the BK centers, you've seen always this image of light, always in the videos and the programs. When the centers reopen, you go there and they have all of this going on. So when you connect to the Supreme Soul, you're connecting to the source of all your powers, your virtues, and the goodness that have always existed within you, but you don't use them all the time because algae keeps interfering. So when the intellect recognizes that there is a source of power, a source of consciousness, an entity, an energy that exists solely for you to be able to receive power, to receive light, to receive might, to feel the original qualities of the soul again, then the intellect feels an attraction to be pulled again and again and again into the vortex, the vibrational field of God's presence. So look at how familiar we are in terms of I, the soul, and God, the Supreme. The soul is love, peace, purity, truth, and joy. That's who we are. But maybe we're not 100% right now. And when we look at God, who we call here Baba, the God is love, peace, purity, truth, and joy. But the difference with the energy is that it is equivalent to like what an ocean of love would feel like, what an ocean of peace would feel like. And the intellect dives into that understanding that this entity has more love than I do presently. So as a result, when the soul connects to God in that state of awareness, the flow of the vibration of that interpretation, that understanding, flows back into your being, and the intellect within the soul starts to experience or remember, I used to love like that. And the more you go into that experience, and the more you connect in that experience, and the more you develop the relationship with the divine based on knowing that it has this vast energy vibration, then of course when the soul keeps making the connection, it starts to awaken to that level of power too. Now, so many of us from various religious backgrounds, we've been going to God in a physical form. In the practice of Raja Yoga meditation, it's not about a physical form. It is about an awareness. It is about a spiritual connection between I, the soul, and the remembrance of God, the Supreme. Now, I'm going to give you an idea of how to kind of make the connection, but it's not to tell you that you're separate or that you're coming out of your body to connect to God. That's not what I'm going to convey. But I'd like to give you a little bit of an example of what it could feel like if you tried this method. Imagine your attention is behind your eye. And you start to break away and become detached from all the attachments that you're used to. Name, gender, role, religion, titles. And you begin to feel like the soul is expanding and growing and becoming more. And you think to yourself, well, where's God? Do you go back into your heart to find it? That feels like you're pulling yourself back into the limited. Do you go to your temple, your church? You could still feel like you're going into a little bit of the limited. Do you go to a scripture, a ritual, a candle? It's helpful, but it still feels like you're not completely free. So imagine if you took your consciousness beyond your roof, beyond the sky, try to go even beyond the galaxy and the universe. And imagine your intellect can't imagine or envision a world beyond the universe. But then what the intellect can do is accept that this is where God is, in the world of light, in the world of silence, in a region that we call the soul world. So when the intellect goes there and just sits in silence, then it starts to feel like it's home. Like this is home. And you have made the choice. You have become the master. You have become the child that has complete access to connecting to not only Baba's energy, but to the home of the soul and to the home of all souls. So once you reconnect and get to this place where the soul is now having this link to God, to the Supreme, it just stays there for a while. And it allows the vibration of that love to sort of massage the soul, to awaken the soul, to remind the soul, to tap into that deeper part of the soul where the sanskars are, and the love that is so pure and so profusely, like it's so deep. It accesses those deeper layers of your personality, and it starts to move away the vibrations of algae because it's being replaced by a love that is so pure and unlimited. Now, what will happen when you practice that meditation is a sanskar from algae will pull you, will just like you'll have a thought of a person, a place, a thing, and all of a sudden you're no longer in the soul world with the Supreme Soul having an experience. Now you're back in your human form. And what that actually signals to you is to recognize how deeply recorded your body conscious identity and energy is compared to your free, liberated self as the child of God that we really are. So I'm going to play a meditation for you, and I want you to go into the experience of that meditation. And when I come back, I'll go a little bit further in explaining what would be the introduction of God at this particular time, and how do we really feel that we have direct access to this divine energy, where the glow of your eyes begin to just awaken, your aura just begins to spread like 1,000 suns, your life and your vibrations and your relationship, everything starts to feel the influence of this energy of God's purity and light, that life feels like heaven. It starts to really be like heaven, which is why I think we really want. We want love, we want happiness, we want abundance, we want health. So what if I told you, you don't need to want these things anymore? Baba says, you are these things. Let's go into this meditation. Take some time and really feel this moment for yourself right now. I'm sure somebody who's watching tonight, because I felt it right before I sat here this evening, somebody out there, this lesson is going to awaken you. You won't be the same person. You're just going to return to your real powerful self. And I know that we'll be here to sustain you. So enjoy this meditation.
We are living in times of a wonderful awakening. And those of us who have been called onto the spiritual path are finding that our purpose in this life is to remember who we truly are, and to take the journey back to a life that's filled with that remembrance. Begin this journey now by allowing yourself to take the first step of meditation. Forget everything of the world. Forget your story, forget your history, forget the dramas that surround you. Just forget it. Let it all go and leave the shore of the world. Allow yourself to enter into a space of peace. Allow this forgetting to naturally carry you into the eternal peace of your soul. Our journey is to return to this peace. And on that return journey, we need the support of the Supreme Being, the highest, most beautiful being in the universe. Allow yourself right now to absorb the light of God, the peace of God, the warm and sweet love of God into your being. One of the reasons why it's so important to take this support is that God is that one being who never comes into the body. That one being who never forgets the reality of being the soul. The rest of us go on a journey in this world and develop spiritual amnesia. We become locked into the physical, into matter, into form. But God is that one being who remains beyond it, so that when we are ready to take that journey back to our light, when we no longer want to live in the darkness, God is the Supreme Mother, as the Supreme Father, as the friend to humanity, is waiting to guide us on that journey. Allow yourself to sit in this light of God, to be embraced by it, to allow it to awaken your power. In the love of God, our beauty becomes revealed to us. We feel a deep sense of connection, a deep sense of power, a deep sense of support. And to make the journey back to our true self, this support is essential. This companionship is essential. Many people, when they have near-death experiences, experience this warm light of love, the Supreme Being who knows them better than anyone on the planet. But we don't need to die to experience that. We only need to forget the world temporarily in our meditations, to let it all go as we allow ourselves to enter into peace, to enter into the heart of the most beautiful being in the universe. And all you have to do is rest in this light. Allow yourself to be rejuvenated by this light. Allow yourself to be absorbed in the pure, powerful energy of this light. All of humanity is on the return journey to remembrance. But in order to bring this light back into the world, it helps to have the companionship of God, the experience of God, In God's light, our own beauty and eternal goodness awakens, so that we can return to the world to light it up with joy, with power, and with radiance.
So what if we actually realize that the connection and the experience to the transformation of the self is just a thought away? And so you can see how the meditation, what it does is that it takes us away from the normalcy of the attachments that we're so accustomed to. Again, the name, the gender, the body, the religion even. Even if you are attached to an interpretation or a concept of some form of religiosity, and you want to go to God to feel the energy of God, it's going to pull you back, because God isn't a religion. God is love, peace, purity, joy, truth, wisdom. All the things that we are, but not fully embodied at this time, because algae has stripped us of that power and potential. Let's take, for example, when let's say you find a new relationship, or in Indian culture, your marriage is getting arranged, or you go to a new job and you meet somebody at the job, or your supervisor, or your boss. When you encounter these individuals, you're actually encountering a soul. And the second thing that you're encountering is the vibration of the soul, which means the sum total of all the actions, choices, experiences that that soul is carrying in their life at this particular time. And it's just in your hello to that soul, you're actually picking up everything that that soul is carrying for so long. So let's say you connect to some and others you just don't. You've heard people say, I don't like her. I don't know what it is about him or her. I hear it all the time. I don't know. I don't know if I could trust him or her. What are you picking up? Sometimes it could be the energy of the soul, but it could be sometimes that soul is such a clear mirror that they're helping you to see you for what you've become and what you are. But very rare do we meet people who really help us to see ourselves clearly, because many of us aren't practicing a deep sense of self-honesty. So when we go in meditation to reconnect with Baba, with the source, it becomes an absolutely crystal clear mirror to really check the self and say, am I really an ocean of love? Have I become an embodiment of peace? Am I pure? And when you can relate and not really compare, but take yourself in front of that sort of a soul and that kind of a personality, the only thing that will happen is that you're going to want to be a better version of yourself. So many times people talk about, we must try and become a better version. I can feel my call is happening in front of me. I know I was born to do something special. I know something great is coming for me. That's God calling you. That's actually Baba calling you, because he wants to fulfill that energy in you. But doing it all alone by yourself and trying to take only the support of this, I keep getting horizontal and vertical confused. So this horizontal, so keep trying to take it from a horizontal level, where I think that's going to help to fix me and fulfill my calling, will never be enough at a soul level. The soul has to go vertical. It has to move away from everything it's familiar with and tap into the original quality of the soul. So let's go back into the link with Baba right now and experience the energy of God, because today is a really important class for your awakening, right? So let's now take another breath, and I want you to go back into this really longer, deeper connection with Source. And when you come back, then we'll talk a little bit more.
Om Shanti. In this place of peace, I, the soul, am reminded of my own original, eternal state of peace. I am the child of the Supreme, the Omniscient One, the Mother, Father, the One who is called the Ocean of Love. There is no love like the love of God. His love is like a never-ending fountain, washing over the upturned soul, and He draws me to Himself, lifting I, the soul, out of the unfulfilled dreams, the broken ideals of the materialistic world, and He sets me on the gentle pillow of His ever-loving heart. He comforts the torn feelings. He heals the betrayed. He dispels the pain in the heart that has seen the sorrow of a world that has lost its way. He sees the beauty of each soul, myself included. He teaches each one to see the treasures contained in each other. He trains us in the give and take of good thoughts, sweet words, and unselfish acts of benefit to one another. He holds within the steadiness of His perfect mind the vision of a golden age, where all the people of the world are happy. He comes to us in dreams, in subtle vibrations. He surrounds us with the atmosphere of His tranquil presence. He gives Himself to us totally, to be ours in all relationships, so that it is so easy to be His, to belong to the ocean, to be merged in the everlasting, unending, the great being of light and love, is to know the significance of life and to value these brief moments of awareness. This one's love is unconditional. He is the all-knowing, the all-seeing, who questions nothing, who understands all things, and who knows how and why the souls of the world lost touch with their own essence, their own peace and love for each other. He knows how they lost touch with themselves. And now he is calling us back. The ocean of love is beckoning, saying, remember. Remember yourself. Remember who you belong to. Remember your Creator. Be with God. Be filled with His love and His truth for all time. He is always with you, wherever you go. Om Shanti.
All right, Om Shanti. So now, with today's session, we were able to really experience the energy of Baba more. And I'm sure that you can sense that it is very subtle, it is very gentle, but yet very profound in terms of the impact that it has on the soul. So always remember this now, right? For example, you think of the sun, you get heat. You think of the moon, you get coolness. You think of someone who has done something horrible, you feel the vibrations of that person. You think of someone who's like an angel or a saint, you feel the vibrations. When you think of God, you feel the vibration of the one who wants to remove all of your suffering, the energy that wants to take away all of your sadness, the one that wants to bestow all the power and light and might and purity back into the soul, because that's the role of the divine, of God, the supreme energy. So, we've investigated this whole experience of who God is, my recommendation is to scroll back to some of the words that Daddy Janki said in the earlier portion of today's session. Sit with it. Think about it. In order for you to access the energy of God, your intellect, which is your willpower, your conscious choice, now has enough information to say, if I'm going to connect with the divine, let me break away from all of my attachments to myself. I don't have to be happy and I don't have to be sad to have a connection to the divine. I just have to be prepared and open and ready. I just have to have love. I just have to be aware, you know what? I don't have as much power in me as I used to. I'm very clear on that. Where do I plug in? Where do I charge up to get the power back? In remembrance of God, in remembrance of the divine. So where do I go for that? Well, I just break away again from the attachments. It's as if I'm going up. I get out of the house, I go beyond the roof, the sky, the universe, and the intellect starts to wonder, well, if there isn't no universe, if there's no universe, then I don't see any planets, then you want me to go even beyond that? Yes. I want you to become completely detached as a feeling and just open to knowing Baba's here for you, that the energy of God, the divine, is bestowing love and peace onto you, the soul. And as you're re-experiencing what it's like to be full of love and peace and purity, imagine the energy that you bring into your home, into your relationships, into your work, into your creativity, into the way you choose to take care of yourself. It'll be coming from Baba. Because once the soul has experienced the remembrance of being unlimited in its virtues and qualities and powers and values, then it's natural for the soul to make a decision coming from that place. Remember, we vibrate the people that we've become as a result of our choices and experiences. If starting tonight, you begin to accumulate the experience of the beauty and the sweetness and the power and the purity of Baba's connection, imagine the recording in the sanskaras. Imagine how those sanskaras can filter into the mind. And for the first time, you'd be able to trust yourself, because the mind will start to feel the love of Baba, because the vibrations of that is now accessing your sanskaras. And then it becomes like an automatic pilot. That's where it becomes your nature. Your nature is to be loving. Your nature is to be peaceful. Your nature is to be pure. And that's all because of Baba's energy and Baba's vibrations. All right, so I hope that was clear for you today. So we've done a lot in the last 2 days, and today's session, I'm sure, has awakened someone out there. I know Baba's waking you up. We always talk about this in the Brahma Kumaris. You're being awakened from the Kumbhakarna, from the sleep of Kumbhakarna, which is being way too comfortable in the energy or in the bed of algae that you can't really see the light that you really are. And you are that. You are an energy that has the capacity to uplift not only your own life, but humanity. And the only way we don't do that, the only reason why we can't make the change that we wish to see in the world right now that we're witnessing, is because of algae. Algae is like pulling us back. It's like a tug of war. So the more we experience the vibrations of love from Baba, then the algae runs. The algae gets less. The algae gets deactivated. It says, I can't hang around. There's too much light here. So the more the attachment is replaced with love, then you start to know, and you have the faith. You have the firm faith. This vibration of love is making a difference. It will take a little while. Sometimes you don't see the immediate change, but I'll tell you this, every soul on the planet knows what pure love feels like. So when you're experiencing love from Baba, then that soul will always tap into that experience. No matter what they say to you, they know it's there. Remember, your effort in life isn't about changing anyone. It's about changing yourself. And between you, the soul, and Baba, there will be very big changes taking place. Your homework assignment tonight, write a letter to Baba before you go to bed. Let him know everything that's in your heart, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The morning when you wake up tomorrow, write a letter as if it's Baba responding to you over a cup of coffee. How does he see you now the next day? It will be a very profound experience. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Please feel free, if you haven't sent us your email about participating in the Raj Yoga course for this week, please do it tonight and let us know so that we'll get you on the Zoom session when we go into the advanced classes. Those who have done the 5 lessons of this course will then go into an advanced class of a Zoom session with me. And then from there, you will also enter into the daily advanced meditation classes that we offer every day, Monday through Sunday at 6:30 in the morning. Anyway, it's 24/7, but we definitely prefer you to come at 6:30 in the morning. But that's another thing. We'll tell you more. Yes. So thank you very much and have a lovely night. Don't forget to write your letter to Baba tonight. He's waiting for your letter. He wants you to let out everything that is sitting in your heart. Please, don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. Tell Baba every single thing tonight on paper. Don't let anyone see that paper. When you're done, burn it if you need to. When you awaken in the morning, you say the first soul that you remember tomorrow morning, Baba, good morning. And then when you get fresh and go to the kitchen and you get your cup of tea or coffee, then in the letter that is being written back to you, it is as if it's Baba using your hands to write a letter back to you as to what he feels about you. There'll be a huge shift. Thanks for joining us for our next normal. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a lovely night. Om Shanti.
Conversations echo in my heart. Quiet meditation drawing me to you. Joyful expectation rising in my soul as ancient eyes remember the journey within. like a jewel nestled in my heart, shining as you see.